time to develop. Zack Kuntz, Coach Steve has an eighth, Dan has him fifth, and Brian has an eighth. Dan, you're like hot and cold. You like one, you don't like the other. So give me the scoop on Zach.
Yeah, when Steve sent me over the rankings for everyone, I was like, oh, we're gonna have like a couple conversations about some of these guys. So Kuntz is the RAS god. Like, he is Mr. Athleticism. He's already got like the gold star from the combine for that award. He actually, I believe it's the highest RAS score ever. I've been using a lot of relative athletic scores in my process this year. It's great instead of having to track down, who's got this pro day number, who's got that number. It's a great website, one spot for all your information. And when we're looking at prospects that are probably going to be mid to late round picks, you need to weigh athleticism, I think, more heavily. This is a reason, like Donovan Peoples-Jones, I think, is a good example of this. He was a 6th round NFL draft pick, yet I was still drafting him in my rookie draft because I knew he had a great athletic profile. And then Kuntz is kind of like the same thing. He might go in the 5th, 6th round of the NFL, but I know that the athleticism will keep him on an NFL roster and will get him active on game days. So obviously my ranking is way higher than everybody else's, but I mean, I think I don't think this tight end class is like super awesome like everyone else is making out to seem. And so I will default to athleticism when it comes to players in similar ranking spots for me. But I'd love to hear about Steve and Brian and what their thoughts are on Kuntz.
We're gonna let Brian go first, but these tight ends, like I feel like the last couple of years, this has been you get your first guy, like I said, Kyle Pitts, and everyone else is just trash. So like to have a little bit of depth goes a long way. Brian, so let's hear some concerns you have with Kuntz.
I think 8th was a good, like I'm surprised I'm kind of like defending the low on this. I think. I mean, I like the player. He's in that tier with Mallory, 2 athletic guys with good receiving upside. I think with Kuntz, one thing that is going for him that people don't realize is he was originally at Penn State before Old Dominion, and that's actually a good sign, I think, because Penn State does a pretty good job with tight ends. So you would think that they would do a good job at recruiting tight ends. He was just behind some guys there. One of them, I don't know, you might have heard of him, Pat Fryermuth. But I think when I look at the unrefinement, the lack of production, the sort of bad hand technique, catching the ball, that sort of thing. If we are talking about a guy who's going to take a little while for the game to translate to the NFL, and if we're talking about a guy I'm not one of those people who says, always production over projection, right? But this is pretty much a total projection guy for the most part. And, so maybe I'll fade that a little bit, But I mean, I like the player. I've seen him go 4th round in rookie mocks. Like, why not take a swing on a Kuntz in the 4th round rather than, some day 3 wide receiver who's like the 7th wide receiver on your dynasty roster, right? So, yeah.
I hear that. Coach Steve, wrap this up.
Yeah, I mean, I did like Knutz a lot. I think he's just a solid wide receiver overall. I mean, the athletic ability is fantastic to see. And when watching film on him, I saw way too many times where he kind of just catches the ball and goes down and doesn't really have that ability to kind of create yards after the catch too often. And I don't think he's going to be much of a deep threat. I think he's going to be kind of that nice safety blanket over the middle of the field when a quarterback kind of needs a person right there in the middle and get that first down when he's right past it, the line of there. Again, just decently overall. I mean, the limited experience over his college career, not a concern, but definitely something to take note of. I mean, he had just one good season in 2021 where he got actually the full-time role. Not saying that's a bad thing, but, there's limited experience as a college athlete playing the tight end position, now translating to the NFL. Again, I think he might need some time, but I think he's a good athlete and could benefit from some development and some waiting behind somebody, and then maybe eventually taking over the tight end 1 position for a team.